All right, so we got a good one today as Adidas has just revealed their Q1 preliminary results. Now, this answers many questions, including how the company is doing currently financially. It also lets us know how many Yeezys they sold for this last major Yeezy drop. And just a little spoiler, Adidas isn't done selling Yeezys just yet, but of course things are complicated. So I'm gonna be going over a comprehensive breakdown of all of the details. But first, last night we had some major Jordan brand news hit, which according to Z Sneakerheads and Sneaker Files, the iconic Jordan 1 bread will be making a return next year in 2025, but of course in good old 85 form. Now there's many rumored details floating around about the packaging, the release, everything like that, but because this sneaker doesn't drop until next year, let's just let this one marinate a little bit. But what we do know, it looks like so far these won't be a reimagined pair, but rather the 85 high, which typically Jordan brand over the last few years or so has been dropping during the NBA All-Star Weekend festivities or whatever. So I think this could be a cool release if it goes down exactly like that. And as far as Jordan 1s, we know there's been a little bit of talk about how these pairs are starting to get a little bit stale. We know a good release coming up with the reimagined black toes are dropping this holiday. So I wonder if this release information will affect that drop or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But as far as these joints dropping next year, the only thing I could ask for Jordan brand is to just please drop enough pairs. All right, and for today's major Adidas Yeezy update, we have Adidas Q1 preliminary results. Now, for those of you that are new here on the channel, any publicly traded company, they provide their quarterly results to shareholders as well as investors. It's basically a report just to let people know how the company's doing currently. So while these are just the preliminary results, the official data will be provided, I guess, in the coming weeks or month or so. But just in these short 3 paragraphs alone, Adidas provides a lot of insight as well as how they did for this current Yeezy sale, as well as the future for the brand. So we got a lot of questions answered, but first we have to mention that Adidas did end the Yeezy partnership. Everything came to an end October of 22, and as we know, Adidas was sitting on a lot of unsold inventory. They had releases planned for the duration of the year. They also had factory orders in place to produce Yeezy, so we know they were sitting on a lot of unsold inventory. And with all of that being said, they contemplated a couple of options. You know, one, they could donate things; 2, burn the inventory, write it off; or 3, just go ahead and release the pairs. And what they did is decide to go ahead and release the pairs, donating a portion to different various charities or whatever. So they didn't release any pairs at the top of the year, but rather they did have a release in the second quarter and third quarter, and didn't release any Yeezys for the fourth quarter. So the timing that they did drop pairs is very important as we get into the details right here. So according to today's Q1 results, Adidas officially reports, as a result of the better than expected performance during the quarter, the company has increased its full year guidance. Adidas now expects currency neutral revenues to increase at a mid to high single digit rate in 2024. Now, you got to pay close attention because as Adidas is reporting these results, remember, they didn't release any Yeezys in the first quarter of last year. So by them comparing last year's numbers to this year's numbers, where they did drop Yeezys in the first quarter, of course we're going to see an increase right here. So just pay close attention to what's going on right here. Now, it does continue to go on that this latest Yeezy drop generated revenues of around 150 million euros and an operating profit of around 50 million euros in the first quarter alone. So in its guidance, the company assumes the sale of the remaining Yeezy inventory during the remainder of the year to occur on average at cost. This would result in an additional sale of around 200 million and no further profit contribution during the remainder of the year. So they did 150 million euros worth of sales during this last Yeezy drop. That sounds like a lot, right? But when you compare that to what they did last year, so just in that Q2 release last year for the second quarter of 2023, Adidas reported $400 million worth of, or I should say 400 million euros worth of sales. And then for the third quarter release, they reported 350 million euros worth of sales, totaling to a total of 750 million euros in 2023 alone. And when you compare that to just the measly 150 million euros that they sold for this first quarter drop, it's not sounding too great. But of course, we do have to factor in Ye actually asking his fans to boycott the releases. So we saw several of these Yeezys sitting on the confirmed app, so that most definitely had an impact on that release. But it seems as though that those designs are so strong and so good that even Adidas was still managing to pull off 150 million euros worth of sales, which then in turn translated to 50 million euros worth of operating profit alone just in the first quarter. Now, they did mention that they still have Yeezys remaining and that they do continue to plan to sell Yeezys for the duration of the year. So many of you guys will probably be wondering, how many Yeezys do they actually have left to sell? We know they did have factory orders in place to produce more pairs, so who knows what pairs, you know, they could drop. But according to the data at the end of last year, when Yeezy, or I should say Adidas, provided the information, it looks like they had just roughly somewhere around 300 million euros worth of Yeezys left or whatever. And with them selling 150 million euros for this last drop, that still leaves them with just around 150 million euros worth of Yeezys to sell off, which Adidas claims they will be dropping during the duration of the year. So it looks like they're still sitting on more pairs, and we know that they are planning to release those pairs during the duration of the year. It's just a question of how they plan to drop them and what pairs are remaining. We know they have still some unsold pairs from the last drop, as a lot of those releases didn't sell out, but who knows if they have any like unreleased pairs in the tuck. We know those 500 high desert camo boots or whatever they're called, we're still waiting on those. And there was some rumors about some unreleased desert boots as well. So who knows what Adidas has planned for these last couple of Yeezy drops, if they plan to release them on confirmed, or if Adidas is just talking about these unsold pairs which they plan to dump to retailers, which potentially, who knows, best case scenario, maybe they'll put them on sale or something like that. But from what we do know today is that Adidas definitely does plan to sell Yeezys. We'll just have to see how it all plays out. So this is a big moment right here for sneakerheads, which I feel like a lot of people, the general narrative is that they could really care less about the whole controversy and everything like that, and they're just looking to grab sneakers that they enjoy. So we'll see how this whole situation plays out. Of course, we'll see if Ye responds to anything. He's been very quiet as of lately, so who knows, maybe he'll say something about this, just like when Adidas announced the last Yeezy drop. He was very vocal about himself not being paid and currently being sued by the Three Stripes. So let me know what you guys think. We're gonna wrap things up right here. I did just drop a new poll on my community tab, so make sure you guys check that one out right here. But as I mentioned, we'll wrap things up right here. So I'm JA. Make sure you guys stay safe, stay blessed, and drop your feedback. I want to know what you guys think about this, and are you excited for Adidas to drop this remaining Yeezy inventory, or do you feel like it'll just be all of the unsold leftover pairs that nobody's really checking for? Or who knows, maybe during that little last year where Adidas was manufacturing the final Yeezy drops, maybe they cooked up some heat or are possibly sitting on some really cool unreleased pairs. Who knows what to expect, but for now, let me know what y'all think. So if you enjoyed today's video, please help out the channel by dropping a thumbs up. I'm JA. Make sure y'all stay safe, stay blessed, and I'm out, y'all. Love.